Hello and welcome to today's episode. My name is Rahim. I'm a property investor. I've been investing for over 5 years. I started my property journey from zero to building a multi-million pound property portfolio. So in this episode, I'm going to share how you can make your service accommodation stand out from your competitors. How can you really make your Airbnb investment property stand out from your competitors? Before we get going, if you like this episode or any of my episodes, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more of these amazing tutorials. So let's get to it. The number one thing you need to think about to make you stand out is understanding your market, understanding your client. And, by knowing who are you appealing to, and maybe creating an ideal client, having an ideal client avatar, so that you would know exactly what sort of profile are you going to target your property at. This put you in a better position to know how much your guest may be able or can afford to pay for your property and what they are likely to pay. Do your due diligence to understand what sort of client you'll be able to target in your investment areas or will be looking for properties like yours. Alternatively, you can search on your investment area and understand it nicely before you go out there looking to close deals. It is also important for you to speak to local agents to understand what sort of clients are being targeted in that area. The second thing that makes you stand out from your competitors would be ensuring that your property is in a safe and appealing area. Very important. If it's a rough area, not appealing area, you may struggle to actually get the right people there. So location is particularly essential when it comes to service accommodation. You should know that by now. So perform a research thoroughly. Ask yourself, are there any attraction or businesses in your investment area? Are your estates easily accessible? Are there transport link? Is there a train, tram, or bus station nearby? As well as bars, cafes, and restaurants and shops. Because guests staying in your property will prioritize convenience and security. So make sure that you give your target market everything they expect from your accommodation. And more, basically, you need to overwhelm. They need to ensure that they get better than what they've expected. And as a side note, you would also want to have CCTV cameras installed in the common areas or the entrance of your property, not the bedrooms or the toilets, okay? Just the common area or the entrance in your property, because they want to feel safe when they're there. They want to also know if anything goes wrong, there's an evidence to actually help protect them. The third thing that makes you stand out is literally not just listing your properties in Airbnb, Booking.com or other platforms. It's important you implement a great marketing strategy. How are you going to appeal to your targeted market? For example, will you be using social media by posting online and letting people know about your property? You could do it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, so people know that you are out there, or you could advertise online, or you could do print ads, or you could even do Google ads. So again, all this depends on your targeted market, but you want to ensure that you actually stand out among the crowd by doing these little things. It may not actually mean anything to you, but it means a lot because you'll be reaching a wider audience, not just people from the UK. You'll be looking at people from abroad, like France, Spain, Germany, the US, China, etc., etc. But if you're marketing yourself nicely, you'll be able to target these people as well. These are just a few of the methods you may use to attract the attention of future guests, as your marketing strategy will depend on your target market. So you know what your target market is, and if you're campaigning, you're doing online campaign, you can target exactly that market. You will want to put some intensive research into getting your brand and your property under the nose of potential customers. Okay, if you have a website, make sure you have all the SEOs ready. Your property is simple to use, is very nice and elegant to fit your targeted market. And again, this helps you a lot. Say if you're targeting contractors, for example, or business people, they would go to your website just to see if you're actually a normal business that they will be able to work with. But if you haven't got a website, or your art is not professionally done, and again, that would also deter them from doing business with you. So ensure that you have a great implementation and you implement your marketing strategy to make sure your target market is well informed. The fourth and one of the most important thing to make you stand out from your competitors is offering flexible stays, right? Guests love choices. If they're considering, for example, staying longer at your service accommodation, they may be Guest love choice. So consider actually asking them if they want to stay a bit longer and also offer discounts. And if they want to take on the properties for like a week, a month, or few months, again, make sure that the way you list your property, you have your weekly rate, you have your monthly rate, as well as your daily rate, obviously, to ensure that if they want to choose any part of those, they can easily go out there and know exactly what the rate is, and also offer discount to those days. Because obviously, if they stayed in your property for a week, that means you wouldn't have any voids during that week. So again, you've got someone actually staying at that property, so offer that discount. And also, if you do monthly, offer another further discount in your monthly rate as well, to ensure that you're able to target this sort of people, especially business people who've got contract in your investment area and they want to take on the properties for like 3 or 4 months. So if you offer monthly discount, they may consider taking on your property. And this would also help you reduce your voids. For example, we have a property in the north of England. Because we're flexible with our dates and our lease terms, we're able to get contractors that have acquired or secure a tenants in that property for I think it's about 6 or 7 months. So basically, that property is literally, calendar is blocked for 6 months because we've got those contractors there, and they'll be staying there for 6 to 8 months. So consider being flexible, because once you're being flexible, adaptable, you'll be able to target different sort of market, and you'll be able to have your property leased for many times, and you would have more occupancy rate in your property. Number 5, keep an eye on your review. Very important. The review helps you drastically, okay? According to the Global Service Apartment Industry report by the Apartment Service, 79% of clients now value online reviews as highly as personal recommendation, and 80% of travelers uses the internet to plan their trip. So guests may be staying for longer period in service accommodation, so many will want to research the accommodation more closely to understand what sort of property or what sort of apartment they will be staying in. Business owner will also send their employees there to work, so they want to see that your property is literally office friendly. You have a desk, you have a chair, you have chargers, and you also have nice sockets and lamps that allows them to work from home. So again, keep an eye on these reviews. So if there's any issue with any of your guests, go and address the issue online. And if there's any issue, apologize if it's your fault, or even if their fault, apologize, and obviously promise to fix that issue, and then go and fix the issue, and then go back to that actual client and tell them issue has been resolved and the property looks fine. And again, if you have amazing reviews, take advantage of actually commenting in those, because what that does basically helps your listing. Basically, the algorithm like good reviews. So what happens is, once someone commented or leave you a review, it pushes you up in the search list. So if you're actually commenting or actually checking on your review, replying to your guest, this would also help you rank highly in the search results, and recommended also for potential guests. The 6th way you could stand out from your competitors, and again, lots of service accommodation are not doing this, is basically to offer 24/7 site support. Yes, I meant that, 24/7. It doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to be there 24 hours. But for service accommodation, who hasn't got a concierge or a desk, you could actually hire a virtual assistant in Vietnam, India, Sri Lanka, to look after your property, service accommodation properties for 24 hours basically. So what you could do, you could look for countries that have opposing time to us. You can have 2 virtual assistants, one the same time as us if you don't want to get involved, and another one that is the opposite sort of time. So then you've got 24-hour support for your service accommodation, because people want to know that if anything goes wrong, they've got someone to contact, or someone who knows the local area. And again, if you go to VA, they will go and research your investment area. They would know where the tourist attractions are, where the best bars are, where the best restaurants or pubs are. So that way, when your guests ring them or contact them, they will be able to answer those questions, okay? So very important for them to know your investment area. And if you decide to do it yourself during the day, obviously it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be ringing you, banging the phone all the time, but they just want to feel that sort of support is there should they need it. The 6th and final thing that makes you stand out as a Airbnb or Booking.com host is basically adding value to the services you do. One way that your service accommodation will be strongly differentiated from the crowd is basically providing a wow factor for your guests by providing extra services. Basically, this can be a design to make them feel comfortable, convenient, and obviously happy. You could provide things like free airport transfers if your property is very close to an airport, or you can work with an airport shuttle that will provide you a discount for your client. And if they're international travelers, to ensure the fridge is stocked with food, you can call them, ask them if they require any sort of food, so you can order it, get it all stocked into their fridge, especially if they're staying for a few days. You could also offer taxi services, meaning you could work with a local taxi company that would provide discounts to your client who wants to travel around the city using the taxi services. Or you could actually buy them a champagne bottle, especially if they're out there to do a hen do, stag do, or they're just there to actually celebrate someone else's birthday. So you can do gifts like that. You could also buy them flowers. Or if they'll actually engage in someone, you could get flowers laid on the bed, so that then you actually provide them that extra support. And some of the guests also would like the cleaning services to be in a daily basis if they've requested that, and again provide that sort of services that would actually make them feel wow. Providing them that service will make them feel absolutely amazed, and guess what, they would go out there and give an amazing review, and that review also helps you rank you through the search. And guess what, in return it gets you lots of guests to visit your property. I really hope this has been helpful. If you're thinking of investing in service accommodation, or Airbnb some people call it, these are the sort of things that you need to be thinking about before you get into it. And again, very important for you to make sure you stand out of the crowd, because there's so many service accommodation or Airbnb out there. You need to make yourself unique, different to everyone out there. So these are the little things you could take advantage to actually get you to attract the best guest for your property. I really hope you've liked this episode. If you like this episode or any of my episode, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to my channels for more of these amazing tutorials. I look forward to sharing the next episode.